Here's another of the Ortiz Recercadas based on Doulce Memoire, this time for bass viol, so we're decorating the bass part. We're going to start on a back bow, and the very first bar is jolly useful because if you remember when we were looking at the chanson, the original undecorated version, we said that the first bar was actually quite difficult because nothing happens, nobody moves, and all four of you have to arrange to shape your first note and arrive in the second bar together. But now we've got the decorations in, the bass part actually gives us some movement and some pulse, so it's jolly useful. They've got such elegance to them, these lines. So we're going to leave our second finger down at the very beginning while we cross to the F, so we get that D minor harmony outlined. Here I'm going to play 1-3 rather than crossing to the E string, and the rest of it just fits. Let's play it together from the top. 3, 4. Going on, going to retake. Going to retake again here. Should we just stop there a second? So each time we end a phrase and we can afford to take a breath, I'm going to restart on a forward bow. So the first one in bar 4, we'll start that with a new forward bow. And here we can afford to take a breath at the end of the phrase and we'll reset the bow at the tip. Here, at the end of bar 6, personal taste, but because it's such a quick run of quavers and a quick visit to the A string, I just think it's tidier if you finger it with a 4 on the A at the start of bar 7. Otherwise, fingering and bowing fairly straightforward, I think. Let's play from bar 4. 3, 4. Go on this time. Almost got there because it's a convenient resting point. I did a few things in there just to sort of sort the bowing out a bit. So the first one was in bar 11, which comes on a forward bow. I did 2 things here. I played in first position, so that the first 2 quavers, I played the C with a 4th finger, but I also slurred it to the B. Because the bowing is just backwards for too long otherwise, I think. So I'm a 1 at the beginning of bar 11, and then the first pair of quavers I'm playing 4-3 with my fingering, and I'm slurring them just unobtrusively. Don't make a meal of it, but just you're heading for the middle of the bar, so it doesn't need to be a major event. These are just decorations as you head there. As you cross there, make sure you hold down the bottom E so that you've got plenty of resonance from that bottom string while you just cross 4 strings away to find your open E at the end of bar 12. And again here, this is 14. I'm in first position so that I can put the C with my 4th finger. It just strikes me as being tidier than there's 1 too many bits of string crossing in there, and I hate playing the B with a 4th finger. I'd much rather be in first position. By the time you've played 1-3, your 4 should just be absolutely there to play the C. So let's go together. This is bar 9, open C string, bar 9. 3, 4. retake. Couple of decisions to make in there. So I think bar 15 needs to start on a forward bow. It's interesting though, because the middle of 14, this is the beginning of the repeat of the first section of the chanson. So it's an ending for you, but it's the beginning of that very long first note in the other parts. So I think you have to get out of the way and then use this. It's like the equivalent of the second half of your first bar. You're in charge of kind of keeping the pulse and moving things on. We're going to start on a forward bow at the start of 15. Now here, if we just bow it through, all the quavers are backwards, which it's only short, so maybe that's okay. What I did was 2 forward bows. It does 2 things. It slightly points out that bottom D off the beat. It's just a slightly funky rhythm. It's nice to make a thing of it. The alternative would be to start it on a back bow at the bottom and tuck the very first quaver. I'm not so keen on that. I feel that makes a bit more of a meal of it, a bit more of an issue of it. So I think I would either bow it through and live with some of it being backwards, or put the double tuck where you would put, like there's an octave leap anyway, so there's going to be a bit of a gap. It's a good place to correct your bowing. It's much less obtrusive than trying to tuck in there. Having said that, we are going to tuck a few of those later on, so take your pick. Let's play together from 15, and we'll aim to go on this time. 15, 3, 4. Going on with a back. Shall we stop there just because it's a convenient resting point? So from the end of 17 I started a back bow. I tucked this. Again, octave leap is a good place to hide it, and I quite like taking the breath. It's nice to be at the tip, it's nice for this to come out the right way round. So it just seems to sort the bowing out nicely there. But then, retake here. And we're the right way round, aren't we, for all of this? We'll just stop there and play some of it. So we'll go from the end of 17, the last minute of 17 together. 1, 2, 3. Tuck this, I think. Retake here. Should have said actually about fingering. In bar 21, after this dotted minim C, I'm putting the E on the C string, but then it's just, I get such a much better sound from this F and the open E string. So in 22, when there's kind of more of it, I'm more inclined to put that in half position, whereas in 21, where it's just sort of, you visit it and you come back again, I think it's tidier here, but then half position. That's slightly just personal taste and what your viol sounds like in the middle of the C string, but that's what I'm doing in there. Shall we go on? This is 24. I'm going to finger this 1, 2, 4, because life is too short to just nip up to that A string. We're going to start it on a forward bow. This is 24, 3, 4. Bar this. Just stop there a second. So from 24, I'm going to bar these two, the D across to the A, and then I think I'm going to play the E on the C string. Just because it makes the line nice and smooth. But then here, open E string for me, because it's a much better sound going up. Bar these, the bottom E to the A. Now we've got a bowing decision to make. We could put another forward bow. It would be quite convenient in a way, but if you leave it, by the time you get here, it's sorted itself out, and it's right for quite a long time after that, so I'm not going to bother. That's in 28. So the dotted crotchet in 28 and the one in 29 both come on a back bow, but I've decided that that doesn't matter and I'm going to live with it for the sake of what comes next. I think that's the only bowing consideration. Now, the other thing you might think about is in 29 whether you're going to go all the way to an open A string, which is quite nice, or whether you're going to find a 4 instead. Just decide. It's safer. It's one of those moments where it's definitely safer to have made a decision and write it in. Otherwise, you kind of go for both at the same time, and you're quite likely to miss. I don't think it matters necessarily. There's something nice about having the open A string, but obviously it's a string further to go when you cross. So just make your decision there. Let's play together from 24. 24. 3, 4. Fingering thing I didn't mention, in 30 I would play this in first position, and then once you get to the C in the quavers I'd be using a full finger. Obviously the first one is an open string because you've come from the D before it, but the whole of 30 after that I would put all the C's on the G string. Let's go on. And we'll stop there a second. So from 31, from the dotted E, here, I just slurred the first pair of quavers here because it solves a lot of problems later on. I didn't do this, but I think we should put the A on the E string. That's in 33. Just tidies things up a bit. And likewise with this E, you might stop that open E string fine. But I think something just a bit tidier again about playing it stopped on the C string. Shall we go from the second minim of bar 31? So the dotted E is going to come on a forward bow. And 1. Going on. lots to think about in there. So first things first, this is 35. I think you're going to throw the bottom D away a bit to make sure you get onto this and it's not late. Fingering wise, that's another one where I just think it's not worth nipping over to the A string, so I would put a 4 at the start of 36. Then I'm in first position for the octave A. Absolutely hold the bottom one down as always. These are the rules, aren't they, for string crossing? How can we help ourselves out? Now I'm going to tuck here, just because it sorts a lot of things out. So that's right at the beginning of 38. I tucked the first quaver in there. Here, 39, I'm playing the C with a 4, so the pair of quavers, the A is 1, 3, 4, down to the F. Now I can reach, partly because this is quite a small bass file, I can reach from a 2 on the bottom F to a 1 on the top F and still hold that bottom F down. If you can't do it, you might consider putting your F on the C string. It's a bit risky to let go of it, I think. So if you can arrange to reach that with the 2 on the F, there's a big space and a lot of room for extending backwards there. So although my bass is small, I can reach much further than the F on the E string. So I reckon even if your bass is bigger, it ought to be possible to reach from a 2 on the bottom F to a 1 at the top and not let that bottom 1 go. So that's what I'm doing at the end of 39. Shall we play from, let's go from 32, just because it covers a few things. 32 on the nose, it's a forward bow. 3, 4. Throw this away. Tuck this. Hold this. I'm going to go on. We'll stop there a minute. So back in 39, 40, 41. I think the first D is the end of a phrase, it's definitely the end of a phrase, and I think you can tail it away. And then the second one needs, so they have completely different shapes, those two notes. This one, completely relaxed, not going anywhere. And this one, the intention is to take you into the next bar. Comes out on the back bow. Here, I would put a 1 on the A at the bottom. This is 44. We're getting good at playing our C's on 4th fingers on the G string, aren't we? I think it's just very useful in this key and down the bottom of the instrument. By the time you've got the G going, especially if it's massive thick gut strings like it is here, you might as well stay there rather than come back and risk it not speaking. I love that B flat. And relax onto that bottom D there. Let's play from the middle of 41. The middle of 41 is a back bow and it's leading onwards. 1, 2. First finger. Go on. playing from the middle of 49. Same intention as before. So at the end of 51, I'm going to be in first position so that final pair of quavers is 1, 3 and 1 on the bottom A, because guess what? I'm going to put the C on the G string again. I am also just imperceptibly going to tuck the first 2 crotchets of 52. So hoping that nobody's going to notice, really. I think this is 51. That's kind of an ending. Well, it is an ending, isn't it? And then you change your mind and decide to carry on. So the tuck in there, I think you can hide it and sort of make it part of the phrasing. I've finished. Oh no, hang on. And it sorts the bowing very nicely. Shall we play the middle of 49? The middle of 49 is on a back bow. 1, 2. Going on. If you're playing from the edition that I've put a link to at the bottom, these last 2 notes should be tied together, don't resound the D at the bottom. Also, just so that you know when we get there, in the penultimate bar, because of the way I've recorded the chanson, we have to pull those first 2 crotchets out quite a lot. And then as we get to the G in the middle of the bar, the tenor part, ya ba ba, has 2 crotchets in there, so it's just it starts to pull back quite early. In 55, I think it's kind of impossible not to start this on a back bow, isn't it? Because of the shape of this. But then we have to have another back here. These get stretched quite a lot. Wait for the tenor. And then put that bottom D in and don't resound it, tie them together. Let's play once more from the middle of 49 all the way to the end, and then we'll play it with the chanson. 49. 1, 2. So now we just need the other parts to go with it. Here we go then, you get 2 bars in from the metronome. Don't forget that we are the first thing that moves in that first bar. We need to not wait for anything else to happen. It's quite hard to get the beginning of this together, but good luck, here we go. So now I will play you a recording of just the top 3 parts of the chanson so that you can enjoy noodling along on the bass line.